Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Evidence, the podcast where we dive deep into true crime cases, uncovering the facts and exploring the unanswered questions that keep us coming back for more. I'm your host, Marv, and I want to thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can find links to my PayPal and Cash App in the description. Now, let's get into today's topic.
Breaking all the patterns, facts and theories, clues and controversy. Join the journey, uncovering the mystery. This is Beyond the Evidence, where justice prevails, with Marv leading the way. Truth never fails. Now get ready for this live stream. Super chat, highlight your message. Don't fall victim to the irrelevance. Hit that like, share, subscribe to Marv's Beyond the Evidence.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? It's been a rough day. Rough 24 hours, I would say. Before we start this evening, I just want everybody to stop and reflect on this. 15 minutes ago, Air Force 2 landed and brought Charlie Kirk's body home to his wife and his family. And that is the first time they are seeing him since this happened. In a casket. So tonight, I wanted to have a conversation. Does this relate around true crime? Sure. But it's more about life and the choices that we make. We have so many things in this world that are going wrong. Hate, division, violence, in all kinds of horrific ways. Not just Charlie, but yesterday we had another school that was attacked. 2 more students injured in serious critical condition by a 16-year-old that went to school with them. Not only that, we have children that are missing right and left. We can't go a day without seeing the many, many, many missing persons posters. You can't keep up with them. All kinds of universities today were closed. Again, because of hoax calls stating there were going to be mass pew-pews. I'm pretty sure that this video is going to get demonetized by the time I'm done. So if you would like to donate, you can use the super sticker, super chat, the thanks if you're rewatching the stream, and I also have any way you can donate below. "24 years ago, 24 years ago, our nation was shaken to its core by an act of unimaginable hate. Thousands of lives were lost that day, and thousands more within the 24 years since then. Families have been shattered. And for a moment, just a moment, we stood united. We were united all together. We denounced the evil that had attacked us. We mourned together. We prayed together. We vowed never to forget. And that's why this is my background picture for right now. It's in memory of that horrific event 24 years ago on September 11th, 2001. It was the first time in history that all flights were landed and there were no planes in the sky. It was the first time that any of us had seen what looked like an apocalyptic scene in New York, in our United States. It's the first time that anyone watched live when that second tower was hit. It was the first time where millions of people around the world watched thousands die in an instant when those towers fell. So tonight, we remember all of those that were lost on September 11th. And we will never, ever forget their sacrifice. Because even though thousands of people died that day, millions of people all over the world were directly affected. Whether it was a loved one, a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, an aunt, an uncle, a brother or a sister, or a friend. These things don't just affect the people that were killed. There's a ripple, a large shockwave and ripple that goes through this. Every time violence happens, it's not just that one person that you're hurting. It's a multitude of people. Peggy O says, I remember that clearly. I also remember looking up in the sky and thinking there's not a plane up there. Exactly. I also remember thinking I finally understand what my grandmother was saying when she said she'll never forget the moment JFK was assassinated. She was scrubbing the floor. Exactly. 2,977 souls lost 24 years ago. Today, I was talking to my daughter on the phone, and she's like, well, wasn't there just like 1,000 people that died? No. Try almost 3,000. And twice as many as those have died since then from horrendous diseases that they have carried since they searched that rubble. I was sitting on the couch waiting on Bob to get home from work, watching the news. Yeah. I was at work. I worked for a cell phone company at that time, and news got out, and we all ran. We took turns running to the break room to see what was happening. People made choices that day, as we make choices every day. Some people chose to stay in homes. Some chose to take their fate in their own hands. And you all know what I mean about that. They chose to jump. So I've named this live The Choices We Make, a Nation in Crisis. Because for the few months that we all stood together and were united in what September 11th did to us, there was a change. And it wasn't for the good. Things had always been kind of tense. You know, we've had assassinations before. We've had children kidnapped before. We've had people killed before. But not like we have seen the uptick since September 2001. And I'm not making this about politics. We're not talking about politics tonight. We all bleed the same. All of us, each and every single one of us. And I've heard people say, well, it's a gun issue. It's a mental health issue. Some of that might be true. But the way I see it is it's a person issue. It's a choice issue. This is about humanity and the choices we make each and every single day. So today, I'm not just remembering the tragedy of September 11th. I'm not only grieving the tragedy, I'm also grieving the tragedy of what we've become. We live in a world where people cheer for death, where the assassination of a man, a husband, a father, is met not with sorrow, but with celebration. That is not justice. That is not humanity. That is pure evil. And like I said, yes, we talk about guns. We talk about mental health. But this goes deeper. Much, much deeper. This is about the choices people make. The choice to harm. The choice to neglect. The choice to abuse. And the choice to kill. It's a choice to walk into a school and commit mass murder. It's a choice to take your own life after destroying others. And it's a choice to mock, belittle, and threaten someone simply because they dare to speak their truth. We've lost the ability to disagree without violence. We've lost the courage to stand for what's right without fearing for our safety. We've allowed entitlement to replace empathy. And we've allowed division to drown out decency. This isn't just sad, it's sickening. It's repulsive. It's deplorable. But here's what I believe. We still have a choice. We can choose to speak up. We can choose to stand together. We can choose to reject hate, even when it's popular. We can choose to be better. So today, I'm choosing to remember the lives lost, not just on 9/11, but every day since, to seamless violence and cruelty. I'm choosing to speak, even if it's uncomfortable. I'm choosing to fight for a world where compassion isn't weakness and truth isn't a threat. And I hope that you'll choose that with me. We live in a time where hate isn't just tolerated, it's celebrated. People cheer when someone dies. People, got a comment today about this. People demand that they know what happened when they don't have any truth. A child dies. Yes, in a lot of cases right now and in the past, it's due to the parents or the guardians or the foster parents. But as each case comes along, we cannot definitely say at the beginning it was the parents. In case in point, I got a comment about the Sebastian Rogers case. And the comment was, let me see if I can find it here. A waste of my time. Everyone knows that the Proudfoot family has paid off someone, whether it's a donation to the police department, the DA, or that county. The judge, they have paid someone to not look for Sebastian. And until the Proudfoots are treated as regular citizens, Sebastian will stay missing. My comment was, really? Do you have absolute proof of this? I'm not disagreeing with you or agreeing with you, but in order to make a definitive statement like that, there has to be proof. Her response? No, you don't. Life experiences are to teach us, At 70 years old, I know what to expect and when to seek. Hopefully, you will get that same years to gain wisdom of how the world works when dealing with deceitful people. Good luck. And my response, after what happened yesterday, your way of thinking is part of the problem. Was I wrong in saying that? Because that is exactly what we do. Instead of looking at all the facts and waiting for the facts, we vilify people right off the bat. Boom. We know what happened. We know that those parents killed that child. People were saying it about Liam King. No, they didn't. That little boy walked off, and unfortunately, he drowned in a pool or in a pond. It's a choice we make, you guys. It's choices we make. We've normalized cruelty. We've politicized empathy. We've turned disagreement into warfare. And the worst part is it's not just fringe voices anymore. It's everyday people, neighbors, coworkers, even family. It's no longer enough to disagree. Now, if you don't conform, you're a target. People will threaten you, dox you, harass you, even wish death upon you, just because you dared to speak your truth. We've lost something sacred, the ability to see each other as humans first. We've traded compassion for clout. We've replaced dialogue with destruction. And we've allowed entitlement to override decency. It's a choice to be cruel. It's a choice to dehumanize someone because they think differently. It's a choice to weaponize your words and your platform to tear others down. And let's be honest, this isn't just about guns or mental health. These are real issues. But it goes deeper. This is spiritual. It's moral. This is about the soul of our society. And it's about good fighting evil. We need to talk about how violence has become a language, a response, a solution. People are choosing violence not because they're concerned, but because they're angry, because they feel justified, because they've been taught that if someone disagrees with you, they're your enemy. We see it in schools, in homes, in the world every day, in politics, in entertainment. Violence is no longer shocking to us. It's expected. And that should terrify each and every single one of us. We've created a culture where people believe they're entitled to harm others for having an opinion, where silence is safer than honesty, where fear is more powerful than truth. Think about it. We used to be able to talk to each other, to debate, to disagree, and still shake hands at the end. Now we're afraid to speak. We censor ourselves. We walk on eggshells because one word could cost us our safety, our job, our life, or our income. And I say that because on YouTube or any other social media platform, I cannot say the word murder. I cannot say the word gun. I cannot say the word shooting, drugs, abuse, sexual abuse, or anything like that. I have to come up with unique ways to rephrase everything when I shouldn't have to. Murder is murder. I shouldn't have to call it unaliving or red rum in order for you guys to see what I'm saying. Okay? The mainstream media doesn't have to do that. They're allowed to put things on YouTube and TikTok that say those words in their videos. But when somebody comes on and does a live stream like this or goes on TikTok live, we have to censor our words or we get demonetized. We do not get paid for that video. Case in point, Sunday night, I did a segment called True Crime News. I talked about 5 different cases. There was an update on Travis Decker. There was, let me go back. So we talked about Emmanuel Harrell. We talked about Renesmee Utsi. We talked about the Richard Allen appeal. We talked about Travis Decker manhunt update. And we talked about Annunciation Catholic Church shooting. I had to trim out the section of Travis Decker and the video I played because I used a news station. I didn't play the whole thing, and I talked during it, but I still got a privacy strike or whatever, and I had to trim out that section. And then after that, I was notified by YouTube that that video was demonetized. I'm doing the same thing the nightly news is doing every day on Sundays by doing true crime news. All of these news analysts come on YouTube now because they know that that is the platform where everybody goes to for their news. They do the same thing. They don't get unmonetized for it, but I did. When we speak, we're met with filth, with threats, with vile comments from people who think their keyboard gives them permission to be monsters. This isn't freedom. This is tyranny disguised as entitlement. Every act of violence begins with a choice, a decision. And we need to stop pretending that people are powerless over their actions. and that I may offend somebody by using the words murder, gun, shooting, abuse. Abuse is a choice. Neglect is a choice. Murder is a choice. We need to stop excusing evil. Stop rationalizing cruelty. Stop blaming systems for what individuals choose to do. Yes, systems fail. Yes, reform is needed. But we cannot ignore personal responsibility in all of this. We cannot ignore the fact that people are choosing to be evil, and others are cheering them on. So what do? We speak. We stand. We choose differently. We choose to be kind when it's unpopular. We choose to listen when it's uncomfortable. We choose to protect the vulnerable, even when it costs us. We choose to remember that every life matters, not just the ones we agree with. We choose to reject hate, even when it's trending. And we choose to build a world where our children don't have to fear speaking their truth. Today, I'm asking you to choose, not just to remember 9/11, but to reflect on what kind of world we're building now. Are we honoring those lives lost by becoming better? Or are we dishonoring them by becoming more hateful, more violent, and more divided? I want to hear your thoughts. So, I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you would like to come up and tell me how you're feeling, what your thoughts are on all this, what your ideas are of how we can make a change, come talk to me. Let's have a discussion. I'd love to have it. Just know this, that when you come in the back room, the green room, you have to show your face so I know that you are a real person. And then after that, you can turn your camera off. But if you would like to join me in discussing this and talking about our feelings and the issues that we're having, I'm happy to have you up here. Didn't the president say he was going to take away the censorship from the social media platforms? What happened to that? He's got bigger things on his hands than that right now. So is there anybody else that wants to come up and chat? Yeah, I can make it 18 or over. Everyone has their right to their own opinion. Unfortunately, some don't agree with that. And we've seen that. The amount of disgusting comments I have seen is horrendous. But I've also seen some really good ones. And I'm going to share one of those with you tonight before we leave, because I think this individual said it best. I just have to find it again. Let me just pull it up here. I gotta find it. Yes, okay. I have it up so that when we're ready, I can play it. Yes, I know, you talk to me almost daily. Anybody else have any comments? You don't have to come up live. You can put them in the chat. I know that you have been as we go along, and I thank you for that. My cousin lives in Katmunda, and they're under attack and in stay-home place order. My aunt hasn't heard from them since Tuesday night. Our time, it's Friday over there. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I hope that your aunt hears from them soon. How do you combat that from a social media perspective? Peggy, we do the best we can. We let our audiences know that we are being censored. We are not allowed to say certain words. So we apologize. Until the change is made where we are not censored to not say certain words, we have to keep abiding by the rules or we don't get monetized. Hatred is taught. I agree with that. Oh, let's see here. I think people would think twice if they remove the option to edit a post or delete a comment. The comment I got on the Sebastian video, I left it up there. They weren't calling me any names. They had their opinion. I had mine. And you're right. Some people don't care what they say. They're behind a keyboard, a monitor, telephone screen. Can't see you. Don't know where you are. So they can be as ugly as they want. And that's what's got to stop. This world has got to come together. The United States has to come together. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And the things that we are hearing that are done to our children get more and more horrific each and every day. Each and every day, it gets worse and worse and worse. So I'm not just talking about gun violence. I'm talking about all violence. Yes, there are people that are weaponizing their platform and they're spewing hate and encouraging harassment, doxing, all of the things I said before. And that's wrong. And YouTube needs to crack down on them. Not the words I say. Not the words you say if you're a creator. And Peggy, I know you're one of them. You're just as confused and frustrated as I am. Next week, we're going to talk about some very disturbing cases. Things that have been done to children. And you think every time I hear these cases, I'm like, God, I thought I heard the worst of it already. No, just gets worse. How can someone who is supposed to love and protect their child pull out their toenails, burn them with cigarettes, beat them so severely that they have to change her clothes for her, put her in a vehicle, and call 911 on the way? This little girl laid on the side of the road until paramedics got to her. Coding. And they said she had mental health issues when she didn't. She had abuse issues. That's what she had. I can tell you YouTube encourages this type of behavior because if I put something in my YouTube shorts or videos that could be portrayed as drama, it spikes up like you would not believe. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Some people are just dough bags. Yep, that's one way. Disgusting. Yes, it is. Autocorrect changed it. An eye for an eye punishment should be reinstated, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. I watched a video today, and I want to share it with you guys. I just have to find it. Hang on a minute. I've watched so many videos today, but I know what I'm looking for. Here we go. Do you see the thumbnail? Crime is a choice. I am safer in Korea than in America's big cities. This video was released by Charlie Kirk 3 days ago.
across the country. Honor to be with you as always. You can email us freedom@charliekirk.com, and we are here in the bitcoin.com studio. It learned that people Korea. I learned a lot, and this event Build Up Korea was basically a America Fest, a AmFest carbon copy. It was so much. It was. It learned that people really love Turning Point USA aesthetics.
Okay, so we'll pass that part.
Attack the same things that we have been fighting for here, whether it be lawfare in South Korea or mass migration in Japan. This is a worldwide phenomenon. But the thing that was the most striking, and it connects with the news today in America, the thing that is the most incredible is what happens when you walk outside of your hotel in South Korea. I got up quite early the next day. I mean, your body clock gets all messed up in trips like this. So the fact I slept 7 hours and woke up at 5:30 local is like an accomplishment. Usually, if you're coming from America, you wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. and you're all messed up. So I woke up at 5:30 and I said, I'm going to go get a cup of tea and go explore the city.
So he's
and I did.
Yeah.
By myself.
Listen, by himself.
It was amazing. As soon as you walk out of the hotel, there's no bums. There's no people asking you for money.
No graffiti.
They don't really put up with graffiti at all. This is the streets of Seoul, South Korea. And I walked 6 miles all throughout downtown Seoul, South Korea.
By himself.
And it's a pretty amazing thing. Whether it be walking through public transportation, whether it be walking through public parks, everything is clean, orderly. They take pride and responsibility over their public spaces. In fact, Blake and I, one evening, Blake said, Charlie, I have to show you the subway station. I said, the subway station? I said, Blake, is that safe? And Blake chuckled. He said, safe? The whole country is safe.
The whole
Here's just
country
one little
is
taste.
safe.
This is Blake and I in the subway. Yeah, play cut 284.
This is
Look at their subway.
immaculate
No dirt.
compared to what we're used to.
It is so nice and clean.
This is unbelievable. Wait, so this is a subway?
Is this really the subway? Like, go here?
You're kidding me.
You're kidding me.
Scan in with it. It's only about $1 every time you get on. Maybe $1.20.
Have you ever seen a subway like this in America?
Do they have restrooms down here?
They probably do, although I've never used
What are
one.
these things here?
Oh, this is a crane game. Like,
Isn't that crazy? The man was able to go out by himself, no security whatsoever, and take a 6-mile walk. And later on in the video, if you go back and watch it, he's talking about talking to the doorman in front of the hotel. And there's a language barrier, but he's trying to ask him if it's safe to do these things. And the guy is just not understanding him. And he's like, is it safe to go here? Is it safe to go there? He's like, well, what do you think you're going to get in a car accident? Never, ever entered his mind, the doorman's mind, about someone being hurt or mugged or killed. Never, not once. And that was 3 days ago. Isn't that crazy? Knowing what we know happened now. That man has never, ever been able to walk anywhere in the United States, probably, without security for about the last 10 years. And 3 days ago, when he was in Seoul, he was able to walk 6 miles by himself. He asked his buddy, where's your luggage? He's like, I left it in the airport. He's like, what do you mean you left it in the airport? He's like, no one's going to touch it. And he goes on to talk about the reasons are that there is a respect for one another, caring for one another, love and empathy and taking care of your neighbor. not all of this hatred and violence and evilness. So it's just crazy. I'm going to leave you tonight with a TikTok that I saw this morning that really sums up how I was feeling, how I am feeling. Yes, Mothers of Dragon, it makes me worry about my children, any grandchildren I'm going to have, and about the future of this nation. Very, very sad times. And if we keep going this rate, it's going to get a lot worse. So let me pull this up. Because I really, really want you to hear it. Because this is what broke me today. This is what truly made me sit down and think about what the world has come to, how I want the world to be. And it broke me, and I just cried and cried and cried. So let me start it here for you. This is lip singing Jason Lyle. So if you go on TikTok and you just, or Jaron Lyle, sorry, and you type in Jaron Lyle, you'll find him.
They told us opinions were meant to divide, left and right, blue and red, your truth, my truth. But when blood hits the ground, does it matter which color the ballot wore? When a voice is silenced forever, does it matter if we agreed with it? Charlie Kirk, a name that sparked debate, a man some called hero and others called enemy. But strip away the politics, strip away the stage lights and microphones, and what do you see? A human being, a husband, a father, a man whose little girl just turned 1, and a child who will grow up searching for memories and photographs instead of footsteps. We forget somewhere along the way that disagreement isn't war, that dialogue is not a death sentence, that your right to speak doesn't erase my right to breathe. We built walls out of opinions, but those walls can't hold back grief, not tonight and not here. Because tonight, it's not about being left wing or right wing. It's about remembering that we all share the same heartbeat, that life is sacred, that voices, whether we echo them or oppose them, deserve to live. Violence is not victory. It does not end an argument. It ends a human. And once the life is gone, there's no debate left to win. So let us cry together. Let us rage against the silence together. Let us remember that unity isn't uniformity. It's holding hands across differences. It's grieving together. It's choosing love when hate is the easier road. Charlie is gone, but maybe his loss can remind us what it means to be human again. To see the face before the politics, the soul before the stance, the person before the post. Because at the end of it all, we are not enemies, we are neighbors. We are one people, bleeding, broken, but still breathing. And as long as we breathe, we still have a choice to build bridges instead of bullets, to heal instead of harm, to listen instead of loading our guns. Different wings, same bird. One falls, the whole body crashes. So let's lift each other and remember what matters, not the party, not the platform, but the person, the life, the heartbeat, the little girl who will now grow up without her father. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. They told us opinion.
Powerful, powerful words. And he was right on. And I left him a comment telling him so. So with those words, we're going to end tonight's live. Thank you all for joining me, for discussing this. If you're watching the replay, please put your comments underneath the video. But remember, let's choose differently. Let's choose humanity. Let's choose truth. But more importantly, let's choose love, kindness, and empathy. Thank you, everyone. I will see you tomorrow night.